Good day. It's really my pleasure and exciting to have you, for this brief hangout. And I wish to engage on a very interesting topic of concern, which has to do with competition and consumer protection in Nigeria. It's actually an exciting area and an area where I'm well versed in, having been a course I've studied for 2 semesters at my master's, program. And it's a very interesting topic. More so that in the business palace, the consumer is always referred to as a king in the chain of distribution of goods and services. That safely one can assume that all substantially revolves around the consumer and the satisfaction of the consumer in the marketplace. And it's flowing from that background and coupled with that checkered history of consumer protection in Nigeria that in 2018 the National Assembly enacted into law the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act 2018. And this law brought together, harnessed all the bundles of rights that affect the consumer in the Nigerian market. And if one look carefully at these laws, it speaks volume. And it's very concerning that the average Nigerian consumer is not well informed about these rights that the law has provided for the consumer in the country to enjoy. And that makes it very expedient and very important for us to have this conversation. Now, looking at the whole gamut of the Act of 2018, that's the Federal Consumer Protection, Competition and Consumer Protection Act of 2018, Section 114 to Section 133 provides for these bundles of rights. Now, what are these rights? One of them talks about the right to information, which must be written in plain and understandable language. So whatever product you are putting in the market for the consumer to buy and use, it is expected that sufficient information should be provided about that product in the plain and understandable language the customer or consumer understands for the person to make an informed choice. Now, there is a need to disclose the price for goods and services the consumer is patronizing. It is a right of the consumer to have access to this information. Now, another very important thing has to do with the right of the consumer to select suppliers. And talking about selection of suppliers, the law seeks to, de-emphasize monopoly in the marketplace. So that dominant position, where competition is reduced down to the barest minimum, should be discouraged in the marketplace. Therefore, consumers have the right to pick which suppliers or manufacturer to buy product from, and then the right to choose and examine goods, right? So a consumer has the right to inspect goods before buying them, because the requirement of the law on the issue of merchantability, of quality, that can only be guaranteed when the customer is availed the opportunity of inspecting the product he or she is about to buy and then make an informed choice. And then the right to fair dealing. Then very crucial, this right to return goods, right? So the fact that a consumer has purchased a particular product does not make it absolute that there is nothing to be done if the consumer is dissatisfied with the quality of the product he or she bought. So that consumer has the right to return that product if he or she is not satisfied with the quality of the product. And then very importantly, the right to safe and good quality product. So whatever the manufacturer is putting in the market, there is that assurance and guarantee that that product is safe, good, and of good quality. So there should be these rights that to a large extent guarantees the quality and the safety of product and services rendered. So when services are rendered, because when we talk about the consumer, there are two things that come to mind: goods and services. So right, whether professional services, medical service, or legal services, the consumer is entitled to have good services. So when the services are not good, the consumer has the right to complain. And then the law has provided for forums, opportunities that the consumer can ventilate his or her grievances. We have the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. You have the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Tribunal that addresses these rights. And in Nigeria today, there are copious of situations or instances where the commission has swung into action upon complaints received from consumers about poor quality goods served or purchased that do not meet the standard required. So, as a customer, you have litanies of rights that are available to you by law that allows you the opportunity to seek redress, either in the court of law or by addressing your complaint to the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission or Tribunal, as the case may be, for redress. So it is not the end of the game. If you are unfairly treated in a marketplace as a consumer, the law avails you the opportunity to seek redress. And that is the order of the day today. So today, if your rights are violated as a consumer, that is not the end of the road. You have remedies available to you. So today, pick that opportunity, consult with your lawyer who is an expert in the field so that you'll be well guided as to what to do in situation where you buy expired product from the marketplace. The manufacturer, the importer, the distributor, the supplier of goods and services own new responsibilities under Section 134 to 145 of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act 2018 to guarantee that what he or she is putting in the market is safe for use, fit for purpose. And when that is not the order of the day, then you have a right and remedies await you if you choose to enforce your right. So why not enforce your right today? I'm available in the comment section to address to issues that has to do with the nature of transaction and how you are treated in a marketplace, whether fairly or not. And as a consumer, you can enforce your right. Thank you. Now that you are informed, why not do the needful when your rights are violated as a consumer? Thank you for watching. See you when we'll be talking about the duties of manufacturers, importers and distributors and suppliers of goods and services in the Nigerian market. Thank you for watching and do have a wonderful day.